Galaxy Boy been funneling that tea, brothers. What's up, my dudes? We got the East Rutherford MX Simulator RF Pro Track review. Spency Boy jumping to the moon. Okay, so RF, listen to me. You're going the right direction. You just got to keep going. That's basically what I would say about your tracks for the past like 4 or 5 of them. Or probably not even that many of them. Let's just keep it real. Probably like the past 2 or 3 tracks you've been making. It seems like you're going the right direction. But the problem is, for the past few years, it seems like every time you start to go in the right direction, it never fails. You'll end up going backwards again, and then you lose all your progress. Okay? So, but this track right here, man, you're starting to get the rhythms back. There's like 2 or 3 bigger quad rhythms that are 450 only lines that actually are faster. This track has some skill gap. The only real problem that I have with this track, I mean, it would have been a pretty good track, I would even go as far as to say a damn good track, if the track wasn't perfectly smooth. If there was some ruts somewhere or some roughness somewhere. I just can't figure the logic out behind RF's sort of mindset between the fact that they can have all of those ruts and all of that roughness on their track from last week, their Atlanta, Speedway track. They had like 3 or 4 pre-made ruts coming out of the corners. They had roughness, they had character, and then lo and behold, we get to the next round, the East Rutherford round that's not a speedway track, and it's back to being perfectly smooth, no ruts anywhere, no roughness anywhere, like they're expecting the terrain deformation system to do everything. RF, you do realize that doesn't even make any sense. This East Rutherford track, I just watched Race Day Live, qualifying and all that. Bro, there's ruts everywhere. There's roughness everywhere, even on the very first laps. Like, it's not really any different than the ruts and the roughness that they had on the Atlanta Speedway track. Or the kind of ruts and roughness that you would have on like a motocross outdoor national track. It doesn't make any sense, RF. It just doesn't. I don't care how you try to, play it up in your head like it's, well, they're not doing any of that on the normal Supercross tracks because it doesn't get as rough or ruddy as like the motocross tracks or the speedway tracks. But the reality of it is it does. Like, even on the normal in-stadium Supercross tracks, the ruts are crazy. There's 4 or 5 ruts coming out of those corners. So that's my whole point I've been trying to make. If you're going to have all of those ruts and all that roughness on your outdoor national tracks and your speedway tracks like Daytona and Atlanta Motor Speedway, then why in the hell would you not have any of it, literally any of it, on your other normal Supercross track? It just doesn't make any sense, RF. I don't care how much of a fanboy of RF or the Erode system that you are. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It's the fact that RF is not being consistent with their logic anymore. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, let me explain it to you like this, okay? With RF making these tracks like this that are perfectly smooth, no pre-made ruts, no pre-made roughness, no character, no ruts in the whoops, or literally anything like that, it's basically like they're saying that, the Erode system, the terrain deformation system, is just good enough to go in there and create all of those ruts in the corners and on the jump faces and through the whoops and the roughness and everything like you would have in a, real life East Rutherford Supercross track. okay? But then they go to their national outdoor tracks or their speedway tracks, and they all of a sudden feel the need to have all of those pre-made ruts and roughness. Make it make sense, RF. You can't. It doesn't make any sense. Because both kinds of tracks had gnarly-ass ruts. Both kinds of tracks are rutting up like crazy. Both kinds of tracks, you know, whether it's a outdoor national or a speedway track or an East Rutherford soft Supercross track, it's not like you're just only going to have the kind of, you know, terrain deformation ruts on a track like this, but you wouldn't have those kind of ruts. It like RF, I just can't figure it out, bro. I can't figure out what you think you're doing with that. It just does, dude, I'm going to die on this hill because it doesn't make any fucking sense. I know it sounds like I keep talking about it over and over and over, but it's because it doesn't make any sense. If you think that your deformation is so good that you don't need any ruts or roughness or any pre-made on your East Rutherford track, then that would automatically, you would just logically think that would mean that you would think that your terrain deformation was so good that you wouldn't need any pre-made ruts or roughness on any of your outdoor motocross tracks or any of your speedway tracks. That's basically what you're saying by not having any pre-made ruts on these kind of tracks. Do you see my entire point? Oh, man. But, you know, maybe they'll finally figure it out at some point. I don't know. But there was legitimately like 6 individual ruts coming out of the corners on race day live on this East Rutherford track. I just watched it, bro. The ruts up, like the kickers and the gnarly jump faces with the ruts, you could just see the bikes getting all kinds of upset. So then it just feels so bizarre when you get here on the MX simulator track and everything's just perfectly smooth. Why? Your terrain deformation system is not that good, RF. Get off of your high horse, bro. It's not that good on MX Sim, I fucking promise you. It is not that good. You need pre-made ruts on a soft track like this, period. Point blank, period. If you're going to have it on your Atlanta Speedway tracks, why the hell do you not have it on this track? I don't know. But anyways, you're starting to make your Supercross triple jump faces and your finish line jump faces more peaked out like you should. Like I said, you got some good quad lines on this track that really feel like it separates the 450 guys from the 250 guys. And you're also starting to bring back, I've noticed that with the past few rounds, you're starting to bring back that more realistic, higher resolution dirt decal and the look of the dirt. You know, it's so funny, dude. It cracks me up. For the past 3 or 4 years, you guys know if you've been involved in this game, RF wanted to act like, okay, well, we've got to go in here and make the dirt like super basic and Play-Doh looking where there's like no texture to it and it looks basically like the most outdated shit you've ever seen in your life to try to make the Erode system more visible. Okay, that was their big excuse for having the super basic looking dirt for the past 3 or 4 years in this game. And, you know, Spency Boy, the tea sipper, the predictor, the boy that tells you the truth on everything years in advance. You remember when I was telling you guys all that way back there? Like 2019, 2020, I'm like, what the hell are you doing with these basic ass dirt decals, RF? What are you doing? Like, you're taking an already old, outdated game and just making it look even more outdated. Oh, and what do you know? We get 3 or 4 years down the road, and now RF's bringing back all the realistic dirt decals and all that stuff that they should have been doing this whole time, and they're proving that to you by doing it again, okay? This is exactly what I was saying. Like, let me just give you an example here. If this was an RF 2020 track right here, let me just show you some shit, okay? First of all, they would have made like these certain jumps right here where you can quad, like this right here. Back in 2020, they just would have made that impossible. They would have made that absolutely impossible to hit because, oh my God, it's not realistic to hit a quad. okay? But it adds so much to the gameplay and so much to the skill gap of the track. All of these berms would have been about half the size, and they would have been rolled off back in 2020, okay? The dirt decal, the whole entire track would have looked more like, see how this dirt decal right here, see how that's super basic looking? And it's just like one consistent, solid look to the dirt? Back in 2020, no matter what version of the track you downloaded, it could have been the high version, it wouldn't have mattered. Spenty Boy 420 Blaze it. It wouldn't have mattered. The whole track's dirt would have looked like this right here. But it's not like that. They see how you got these little like dozer marks on the jump faces, and you get up in the corners and it's got a different unique kind of look to it. The whoops, it have a different kind of look to them as far as the way the actual dirt looks visually. It gives it so much more of a realistic vibe. Gives the track some variation, when you're on different spots of it. Yeah, RF. Fucking duh. I've been telling you to do this for 3 years now, 4 years now. Why did you ever take that away? But anyways, overall, this track's pretty solid right here. It's got some skill gap. It's got some separation, It's got some fun factor. It's got all that kind of good stuff. I just wish there was some more character, some more, ruts, some more stuff on the track like you had on your Atlanta Speedway track. It only would have made this track better, especially with it being so soft. This is that kind of track that you would want that on. Now, if you're on more of a hard pack track, you can get away with not having as much pre-made because that's the kind of track that it is. But then you got to make the dirt feel a lot harder, which you've struggled to do that with. But it's just like, man, it just gets frustrating when you set all this shit and everybody tried to come out of the woodwork defending RF. Like, well, you just don't understand the Erode system, Spencer. Oh, really? That is crazy, man. I remember all you boys saying, well, they're doing the lower resolution dirt to try to make it where you can see the Erode system better. They have to do that, Spence. They have to do it, and it doesn't really matter. The game still looks good. Oh, that's funny, because now they're reverted on all of that, and they're going back to doing the dirt like they used to back in the old days. Oh, why would they be doing that if they, had no reason to do it? Oh, yeah, it's because it makes it look better. Shit. Bro, I don't even know what else to say. Yeah, RF, you're going in the right direction, but you're going at a snail's pace. When you consider the past 3 or 4 years, you're going at a goddamn snail's pace. And it's like, if you just continued this, then everything would be fine. But you're probably not going to do that. The next track you make will probably be half the difficulty of this track. You'll go totally backwards and you'll start making the small finish line jumps again. Then you'll start making the small berms again and the simplistic ass rhythms that don't have any quads. You'll go back to it again. I don't know why you keep playing that game of going back and forth. I don't know. But that's why I'm not pro racing, because they keep proving to me they're going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Just do what you're supposed to do. It's right in front of you, RF. It's written all over the wall. Just do it.